Hello, I'm Nathan Etherington, the Program and Community Coordinator here at the Brantford Historical Society. Welcome back to Season 2 of Archival Discoveries, in which we open documents in the museum to learn and discover something new about Brantford's history. This month, we're going to focus on our industrial history a little bit and look into Scarfe Paints today. Okay, we have quite a bit of folders here about scarves. So we have some things about their unions. We have the seniority list, also relating obviously to the unions. This folder is a whole bunch of paint chips from the company. And then we just have a general kind of document section. So we'll look at this one first to get a bit of context for what might be in the rest of the envelopes. In this first general kind of envelope, we have, first of all, a calling card or business card. So just a very, very small one, as they would have been back in the day. We also have a number of the tags that they would have put on their products when they're selling them or shipping their products. We then see this big, huge kind of poster advertisement. And in here, it says somewhere that they've been the maker of quality paints for 56 years, and it says established in 1977, or 1877, sorry. So if I do my math right, then that should be around 1935 when this advertisement comes out. And you can see they're advertising a number of their lines of house paints, and they just call it new and improved house paint. They don't have a name yet. And so they're putting this out there to hopefully advertise and get some people to suggest a name for this new type of paint that they're having. All right, let's go in order then. And let's go next to 1942. We see a Mr. Black of Jerseyville acquiring some products, and this is kind of his balance of when he's ordered things. We then see he must run a pretty big paint store because he's ordering a number of gallons and half gallons of certain different types of paints. We see floor paint, we see glossy paint, so a number of different products, and there's pages and pages of it. So you can see all together, there he is, ordering $158 worth of paint in 1942 in the middle of the war, which also would have been kind of expensive. Next, we go into some other things. We look at some invoices. So there's invoices here, and you see they all say sold to N. Krantz, and this name becomes very important to us, as we'll see in a minute. So there's a number of invoices here in the late 60s from him, all the way through until 1970. So he's doing some kind of work with the company. And then we see some documents that give us an understanding of who this person is. Nelson, sometimes they just call him Nels. And you see this is dated April of 1967. And he's invited to attend the graduating class of paint technology that they had. So they had a reception at the Jolly Baron Inn in Brantford, and with cocktails, a dinner, and a light little program. So at that event, he gets his certificate that he has completed this basic course in paint technology. And then we see some other documents. He's obviously working there for quite some time because he's donating to the community chest. And this one's dated 59, so maybe he starts as kind of a floor worker and works his way up. And then eventually, we don't have a date on this one, but he's clearly working the night shift, and they're making sure that everyone who's working on that night shift knows that Mr. Krantz is in charge of all night shift employees with the exception of the alkaloid department. Okay, here we see a number of their brochures for some of their products. And you can see that the paint itself kind of chips and flakes off of these paint chips. So they're kind of difficult to care for these things. So we see a number of their products here. We see a lot that are just general kind of products, but then we see some here that are for exterior only paints, so they should be more durable. And then we see as well here some mixed products for both interior and exterior. Moving on to the seniority list folder or envelope, we see the first seniority list dated May 18th, 1956. So this is what the first one that we see, and now we can look through and see where we find Mr. Krantz. And lo and behold, there he is, Nelson Krantz. So he started March 5th, 1941, so in the middle of World War I, and he's working in the paint shop at that point. Okay, so a later seniority list that we see in 1975, and we don't see Nelson Krantz here. It jumps from 40 to 42. So at this time, they've, I guess, split up their seniority list. Originally, all of them were put together in one spot, but they've kind of broken it down. This is just kind of general workers. And then we have the laboratory employers, a different kind of job class. So they have science degrees, so they're valuable. And then we also see people working at Craig Street, which I guess is their warehouse storage. And that's where we see Nelson Krantz. And he's still fourth on the seniority list somehow in 1975. All right, so let's see what kind of union documents we have. First of all, in 1945, they got presented with a pension plan. So Nelson Krantz now has a pension, which is kind of good and helpful for him. We then see a copy of the 1955 collective agreement. And at this point, he puts no union, and it's not signed. So therefore, they really didn't have, I guess, an effective legal agreement. Here as well, we see a list. It's from the same year, 1955. And we see the different departments that they have and their a list of employees and their names. And then specific minimums that they can be paid, I guess, per hour, and a maximum. So you can see the range of pay is pretty minimal. And then you get very varying rates of pay based on job class. So these ones obviously at the top here have less skills, less training. And then a tinter is more specialized, and therefore they deserve kind of a higher rate of pay. They also have a higher maximum. And then here we see labelers and packers. There's Nelson Krantz. And his maximum is $1.52 an hour. So different rates of pay for different people. It seems that they get through that. And here is another collective agreement. And this apparently is very short. It's only like 1 year. So I don't know if they're renegotiating their contract every single year, which seems very inefficient. But this is also kind of early, so to speak, union days. So you can see their union number there as well, and the Scarfe Paint Company. So later, this is, we don't have a date on this one, although looking through it, I do see some later dates. So it talks about March 16th. So now there's a problem with the union contract, and they go to a conciliation hearing about it. And so with respect to the third collective agreement. So you can see they're taking the company history, the sales history together, and you can see here it ends in 1958, which is why I'm assuming that it's 1958. Oh, there's the employee situation as the 1959. So they're coming up with, I guess, a better contract. And then here there's a notice to the union saying that November 58th, they had this discussion based on this problem that they had with the union. And so they've come to finally an agreement. And the last thing that we see in this envelope is the officers and committees of the union in 1975. And we can see Nelson Krantz here. He's on the bargaining committee for the Inmont plant. So he's doing some work as well, trying to improve the union and therefore the health and benefit for all their employees. So we learned a little bit about Scarfe Paints today. We saw some of their tags and labels and even a business card from the company. We then moved on and saw some of the products that they produced in colors with the paint chips. We then moved on to seniority lists and found out a bit more about Nelson Krantz and what he was doing at the factory. And then finally, we saw some collective bargaining agreements between the union and the company. So join us next week when we feature one of Brantford's favorite manufacturers, the Massey Harris Company.